The Church, in prayer and celebration, joins the rest of the nation in giving God thanks for 50 years as an independent nation. On this occasion, too, the Church extends its prayers, good wishes, and blessings with all God's people for the nation as the nation looks to the future. In the book of Leviticus, we read, "You will count 7 weeks of years, 7 times 7 years, that is to say, a period of 7 weeks of years, 49 years. And on the 10th day of the 7th month, you will sound the trumpet. On the day of expiation, you will sound the trumpet throughout the land. You will declare this 50th year to be sacred and proclaim the liberation of all the country's inhabitants. You will keep this as a jubilee." That is from Leviticus chapter 25, verses 8 to 10. For the people of Israel, the significance of this instruction was that the land and the nation belonged to God and had to be returned to God before, as it were, renewing the lease. Connected to this instruction was the liberation of those in bondage, forgiveness, reconciliation, the cancellation of debts, the returning of property that belonged to others, and leaving the land fallow for the year of Jubilee. There is an allusion to this text when Jesus, at the beginning of his public ministry, quotes from the prophet Isaiah, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, for he has anointed me to bring the good news to the afflicted. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to captives, sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim a year of favor from the Lord." That is from Luke chapter 4, verses 18 to 19. From the biblical perspective, there is quite an agenda associated with a Jubilee year, or a year of favor from the Lord. It would indeed be fitting, or as we say in the preface at Mass, it would be truly right and just, our duty and salvation, for us to shape our celebrations for the Jubilee and beyond in the spirit captured in these biblical texts. Quite frequently, I am part of discussions with various groups within and outside of the Church on topics of major concern in Guyana. We are familiar with many of them: the crime, the violence, the trafficking, the breakdown in family, the future of our youth, corruption, education. The number and gravity of these concerns can be quite overwhelming, but these are the concerns that meet us on our watch at this moment in Guyana's history, at this juncture of 50 years of independence. A Jubilee spirit would call on a people of faith to bring good news to the afflicted and have a resolve that any brokenness and decay would not define the people and nation. Jesus, in the words of Isaiah, declared his own mission and resolve at the beginning of his ministry in the context of oppression and darkness of his own time and place. This year, this time, we are reminded in Leviticus, is to be declared sacred with a proclamation of liberation of all the country's inhabitants. When we look at what afflicts the nation, we see perpetrators and victims all in need of liberation. This dear land of Guyana belongs to God. In all that may be said and celebrated through the events marking this Jubilee for Guyana, this is a time for people of God, for all people, to bring the nation before Him with a deep desire for reconciliation, healing, forgiveness, and renewal. We can do so confidently because He is a God of mercy. So this is a time to renew the lease, as it were, the trust God places in His people and the stewardship of His people in caring for the gift of this nation and the gift of each person. I take a short quote from the poet Elizabeth Barrett, who says, "The earth is crammed," and I like to insert there, especially Guyana. But she says, "The earth is crammed with heaven, and every common bush is afire with God. But only he who sees takes off his shoes." It is time to take off our shoes, because we are on sacred ground. We hear the cry of the people and the mandate to open the ways to promise. God guard you, Great Mother, and make us to be more worthy of our heritage, land of the free.